Thank you so much. I would first of all also reiterate the same message that the anthem of the Gambia, it was my first time to listen to it and it was so beautiful. So I really liked the line that says, let's make Africa the tree of life. That's a very powerful line. And indeed, I believe that very soon we shall make this to become a reality as young people who are doing dramatic changes now in our communities or different respective countries. So I want to start by saying that good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, in all your respective dignitaries, and congratulations to the African Youth Architects class of 2022. I'm profoundly honored and exceedingly humbled to be invited and address you on this important historic milestone event. To all the graduates of Aya Research Lab, I offer my best wishes to you as you take this exciting phase of your lives to bring fundamental change in your respective countries. The Gambia, Sierra Leone, Africa, and the rest of the world will significantly rely on your knowledge, your discernment, and your empathy for those that are less privileged than you. I am glad that you have chosen Sustainable Development Goal 4 of the United Nations Agenda, which advocates for quality education for all children and youth. As we all know, of course, it is true that education is the mother of all sustainable development goals. And without education, it will be so hard for the United Nations to achieve any of the sustainable development goals. So the emphasis or the priority that we can give to education plays an imperative role to enable United Nations achieve all the SDGs come 2030. After graduation, of course, we ask ourselves a very critical question: what next? What next can I do as a graduate? What impact can I create in my community? What changes can I bring in my country? That's a very good question that each and every graduate, ask him or herself whenever they finish, any learning institution achievement. So we can collectively do a lot to ensure that every child in school is learning and also is able to realize their potential. Because without education, it is so hard to make it in this life today, which is so complex. As Nelson Mandela Madiba said, that education is the most powerful weapon we can use to change the world. Indeed, he was correct, because without education, it is so hard to make it in the world today. Therefore, you are now well trained by the Aya Research Lab to use your immense stature to address the education crisis that we have today. So ladies and gentlemen, as I speak to you right now, we have a global education crisis whereby over 270 million children are out of school, not by choice, but because of different push and pull barriers. And this is why we have issues like COVID-19 pandemic, poverty, disability, teenage pregnancies, child marriages. Imagine children going to schools on empty stomachs. They cannot focus on school. Imagine schools, having teachers, but they don't have scholastic materials. Imagine children who are studying under the trees. They are walking miles and miles to access an education. Imagine, children who are coming from poor families, mainly the girl child, who is missing school because they cannot afford to buy sanitary hygienic products. So we have a lot of challenges or barriers that are denying these children the right to education. So I want you to take only 3 seconds and imagine your childhood without education. What would you be? It will be difficult to make it in this world today. So because of education, whether it is formal or informal, you are who you are today. So let's make this a reality by making sure that each and every child in the Gambia, in Africa, in Sierra Leone, in the rest of the world, they're in school and learning to also realize their potential. We have also to remember that we have only 8 years to the deadline of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So the question is, are we able to achieve SDG4? Because if you look at all the targets or the goals of SDG4 in your respective countries, the Gambia, Sierra Leone, even my own country, Uganda, we still have a lot to do in order to be able to achieve SDG4 come 2030. Therefore, we are still far from where we need to be, and we are to be assured of continued progress if at all we collectively rise up as young people on the continent to make sure that we fix the mess in our respective countries. The current learning crisis threatens the future of entire generations in our countries. So I implore you, ladies and gentlemen, to add your voice to the cause of justice. Help the children and the youth wherever you are. You, the graduates of IR Research Lab today, taking up this cause of SDG4, it means that you are the greatest cause to justice. I will conclude by saying that I ask you, ladies and gentlemen, to be a force of change and collectively do our part to ensure that SDG4 is achieved come 2030. It is possible, and for all generations to come and not to hold us accountable. Because if it comes to 2030 and we don't achieve SDG4, then as young people in our time, we shall be held accountable for failing to do something. So let's not take that responsibility of being held accountable. We can do it collectively. As you finish, you graduate today, we can think about different impacts we are going to create in our respective countries. So I challenge you as you go back today, think about something small you can initiate in your community or a project. You can say that I'm going to start fundraising books. Have an achievable, realistic goal. You can say each term I want to fundraise 200 books for one school. You can say each term I'm going to fundraise 500 sanitary pads or 100 sanitary pads in my village, in my community. By doing such small things, you're going to create a bigger impact to ensure that all the children are in school and learning to realize their potential. So I will echo the words of Malala Yousafzai, who said that one child, one teacher, one book, and one pen can change the world. Let's be all be the change that we want to see in the world today, not only in Africa, but everywhere. So I believe that as young Turks, we have the potential. So let's act now and be the change that we want to see. I once again say congratulations to all of you, and I wish you Godspeed. I thank you so much.